What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We got both Andys in the house. Good morning to Andy number one, Andy number two. You guys could decide who's one and two. We got Bill in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Cindy, Keith, Lauren, Lydia, Malik, Martina. Good morning to Tim. Wendy is in the house. Good morning to all of you piling in as well. We got all my people out in YouTube land. Good morning to all of you. We got Brian, virtual demand says being missing for a little bit. That's all right. We'll still cover BTC for you. It's okay. We won't hold it against you. LC in the house in the YouTube chat as well. And of course, all my lurkers in the background, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Even if you choose not to say nothing all day, it's okay. I still love you. But yeah, pretty pretty interesting day. I think we have a new term in the market. I created this one yesterday. UFCs. Uh-huh. Yeah. Unidentified flying candles. That's what we had yesterday. We had not really a whole heck of a lot of movement. We were pretty spot on. It was a retest, and then we were looking for bullish continuation. So the candle on a daily on the SPY will tell you that's exactly what happened. If I was to look at this 2 years from now, I'm like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. We got a good gap up. We followed a green candle, a little bit of resting. Makes sense that we kind of retest. And that looks like a day that should just gone perfectly, but they didn't make it easy. So we did have just a slow kind of drip and hung out, did nothing from essentially the very, I guess that's the first or second candle of the day. I'm not sure if where the open hours are. Yeah, so from the opening candle until really, I don't know, what is that, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we did nothing. We had one last little dip, and then we came back, recovered pretty quickly, did nothing, and kind of started to pop. By the way, for anybody in the mastery group, you guys should all recognize kind of what happened here, right? Redrawing that candle, we get that big wick down, consolidation after, and we got that break, and then we did pop toward the end of the day. So, yeah, good little inverted hammer, nice little trap. Got pretty much right back into where we were just consolidating for. Any bears jumping in felt really good for at least a hot 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then they felt all wheezy again. Otherwise, right to the end of the day, that's when they let it just get that final pop and make a beautiful looking hammer on the SPY. So we'll see. We'll see if we could get some price action in the markets today. Bear lives matter. Uh-huh. Yeah. For 10 minutes it did. 10 minutes it did. And then public stance was no, we're just gonna go bullish. Today's gonna be interesting too. I don't know if we have really anything crazy on the agenda in terms of news, or we'll have to see what kind of comes out through the day. But now you have a pretty decent, strong looking close at the end of yesterday, and I'm getting all my days confused. I'm saying yesterday was Friday. I don't even know why. But you do have a pullback, so technically we have a gap and go to the bear side. So if bear lives matter, let's see if they could make their stance known today. For them to do that, they have a good lead. I'll give them a good lead, but they do have a couple levels of support. The first one is 610.03. The next one is 609.93. The one after that, 609.43. They got to start breaking through some of those, and then especially get some closing below that one. If they get closing below any of those, all right, maybe we have a little bit of a retest. I wouldn't throw the full game right over to the Bears, but then maybe you have some retests eventually down to like 605.01, and then we'll see if we get a bounce out of that zone. But we're pretty far extended from some of the moving averages. We did have a really, really good close yesterday. Bears are trying. I don't know. I think I'd have to still lean in the bear camp, but again, gapping out to the bull camp. I think the Bulls kind of giving up some gains here, some profit taking, some bears trying, and then you got good support. I think the market probably opens up with a little bit of a chop fest. Unfortunately, kind of like we seen yesterday, and then I'm probably have to get down to the 609.93, see if the Bulls could claim their stake, and then let's see if we could kind of rally out of that. But I do think it's probably looking a little bit choppy, at least for the SPY out at open. We will see. We're probably gonna need something with a good story today. Yeah, and I see a lot of those ones coming into the chat right now. Yeah, those are some of the ones I was looking at too. So we'll get to those. But we got the Qs. Qs, they are jumping. Still not closing at all-time highs or at the high of the day. Probably is a better way to put that. Pulling back a little bit. You did have, again, I don't even want to count those two, but 1, 2, 3 strong days. That was a good retest candle. We're just inside of that retest. I think the bulls still have the advantage here. Watch for this right where we're opening, 538.78. We should know within the next 23 minutes if we're going to be opening above or below that. Otherwise, I would think that this one can come back to 537.68. See if we could get the stance there from the bulls and see if we can kind of keep on rallying from that point. But we do feel a little overextended at this point, almost a mini pullback, maybe something into like this 532.61 longer term. But for right now, I can't say that support's breaking. We just literally hit all-time highs on everything yesterday. So we'll see BTC USD. Uh, Still not doing anything. We had a little bit of a bear trap that we added to a high wave. You have one little resistance that's going to be somewhere around 96,334. If you could get past that, I think your next stop would be 96,917 on Bitcoin. But yeah, again, a little bit of a wild day. Kind of looked ugly for one bit. They managed to just rescue it, stay back inside that sideways chop. Once we get the break out of here, it's going to be a phenomenal push, and I don't know which direction that's going to be. My guess would be I'm just gonna go bullish since everything just runs to the bullish side. Momentum actually coming in bullish. Bitcoin selling us we're in a TTM squeeze. We might have a really nice move once we actually finally break out of this thing, but we shall see. All right, we got a lot of tickers coming in today. DOMH. We did try this one once. I forget. Yeah, there was a trade. I forgot if we made money on it. I don't remember if this is a winner or a loser. I feel like we won on this one. I don't know. I think we played this day and then it just ran past it. I don't know. But for today, it's still hanging inside this big candle. I think your risk reward, you do have to go a little bit wider out. Probably trying, if you're trying to stay bullish on this one, I'd throw some kind of entry around $10.01. And then I think if you get your stops around 803, so it's still a $2, just, yeah, about $2 move for this. And then your target would probably have to be somewhere up in this 1290 range. So if we could get a further continuation of just a big massive move, which this one has put in recently at least, big candles. Yeah, this is the one the Trump guys are on the board, right? Trump sons. That's the one. Yeah, I think we had a good day on that one. But yeah, that's how I'd probably be looking at this one. And then your first confirmation, you got to get it past this $10.79. If you climb back above it, you're taking out good volume with a decent looking hammer for continuation on that one. But yeah, we'd have to see how that one wants to play out. We'll throw this one higher on the list. That's my spread as to how I would do it now for my entry, my stop. Maybe during the day, if we get a small pullback first, we get some interesting candles, we could actually probably come in a little tighter. If I could take this type of setup, I think I'd like it today. I don't know if we have the same momentum we had when news first came out about the Trumps being on the board. So I don't know if we get the same follow through momentum, but it has hung out for a couple days. Still living in it. Netflix. Netflix looks a little bit weaker today. With the rest of the market, we do have a bearish engulfing candle. It is still hanging out. I think this one probably retests into 1035.53. That would be the spot to look to go short on a pullback if you must short some stuff today. That would be the spot at least I would try. If it starts breaking that, then I think you get a full-on retest and a much better risk reward on the short side of things to 1,047.71 cents. I feel like I'm talking Bitcoin when I talk Netflix right now. That's crazy. Crazy that we're up here. Target longer term, I think you get down to 10.10.71, but you're also going to have a little bit of resistance, 10.27.85. We've already messed with that one as well. So watch those two spots. If this first one breaks, be very patient. See if you get short a little bit higher on this. But that is a bearish engulfing candle, and we'll see if we can finally get some bears to kind of step in. But a little, not too much edge quite yet. Still inside day from yesterday. Tim is saying beyond meat. They've gone so far beyond meat. They're selling tennis balls at this point. It's crazy. You got Beyond Meat is gapping up. Yeah, good volume came in yesterday. You're seeing a couple of the short squeeze names start to move today. The high short float names start to move today. SEDG is the one Jeffrey's saying. That's, I think, kind of kicking it off. But this one had some volume coming in yesterday. That's a lot of bulls. What is the short float on this one? BYND. Where are we at? Short float 43.86%. It is gapping above a decent location. I would have thought that $4.54 would be a decent resistance. And right now, if we open up here, we are above it. I'd see if you get a small. I wouldn't be the first one to buy this. I don't think you do have your 100 coming in. I don't have a good spot really on a daily for a good stop unless I'm going with like $3.90 and just too far away. But if you can get a little pullback, I think to $4.54, maybe down to like, I don't know, 4.47. And then it gives you some intraday setup where it's got some good candles, hammers, something like that to take advantage of. I think that might be a decent one for some follow through. But that is a lot of buying, lots of bulls already profitable in this gap. I wouldn't be surprised if you do get a full on retest, $4.29, and those shorts start to fight back a little bit. But if you get a small one and it starts to hold, maybe you get some more rally out of it. But I think right now none of it's based off technicals. It's all based off the short squeeze. We've consolidated down there for a while, and just following that big day, I'd say I'd want to let it rest a little bit more than just be aggressive on the buying of that one. But SEDG, that one is gapping up. I think it was $22 last time I saw it. Yeah, $22.87, 88 cents. Again, you got 3 days of buying. Volume on the buying started to increase just ahead of earnings. I think we had earnings this tonight. We got earnings today after the bell. They're not out yet. Hmm. Quite the move, and you have some resistance. If that's true, if earnings have not come out yet, if I was in this position and already had a massive gain prior to earnings coming out, I would probably personally take my gains at open. Uh, that would be, I think, a rational thought that I would have. The other part, I would just double down and go for the whole thing. And just, yeah, it's going to 100. But a rational person, I think, would probably see if you could take some gains, at least shave a couple shares. I think this is probably a retest. I don't think we probably retest all the way to 16.94 unless the earnings come out and have to do the work. But you got $20 and 25 cents, something like that. Would be a decent retest spot if it pulls back. And then maybe go from there, see what kind of candles get set up. But yeah, that is at resistance. You've had a few days, and if earnings are not even out yet, if that is true, I don't know. I think I would just stay away. I gotta get to Marvell as well. We got Palantir. Still just trying to be bullish. hmm Every every day, just bullish. 125 is where we rejected. That's a good psychological number. We hit that yesterday. Doesn't mean we can't break through it today. See if this one at least wants to pull back. If you gotta chase this thing bullish, you're looking for 122.77. See if you can find a little support. If that starts to break, you might have a little bit more support around 119.39. 125 is still going to be a psychological level, which is probably a little bit easier to break today, the second time up. But I don't. If you're in it still, and I'm out, but if you're in it, I'd still be holding. I don't see a spot where I don't see any signs of like real panic or weakness quite yet. MRVL. Marvel is interesting. It is a retest gap. I don't think I'd want to see a full retest of 107.45. I don't think I'd want to see it get down there. I really want this one to hold 109.62. So if we get to hold that spot, I like it a lot. Next real resistance would probably take us up until like 111.24. And then maybe final targets for today, 112.87. Again, they do have earnings. You have a good double bottom. Even over the next couple days, you might still see that little bit of a run up into this earnings report with a bigger target prior to earnings, and we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe we go crazy and get up to this 124 zone, but I think if you get back into this 117.22, that's a really good resistance on it. I don't know if we hit that today. It might take a couple days for us to get there with some chop. But give me a little pullback first, see if that support holds somewhere around 109.35. If it does, might be worth a shot. Decent looking gap. All right. There was a couple others out here. Ally. My buddy's investing in Ally. Let's see. Do we have any gaps on this one? Yes, no real sentiment at open. Uh, a buy hold probably is decent play. It gave much better opportunities, obviously down at some much bigger lower levels that we've had multiple times. So it is if you're in this one, it still looks decent. You got a little bit of a breakout. You did finally get a good close above 39.08. I think your next target on this one is about $40.32. For day trade, if you have to day trade this one, you're looking at 38.93 would be your kind of entry on it. So if you get a small little pullback, and then I still think probably for today, 40.32 would be a target, a decent looking target on that one. For a swing or anything else, it's possible we could break this. This is the second time we've been up there, and then your next immediate target lands you at like 41.41, or further breakouts into some of those bigger pivots up to like 42.90 ish. But for right now, you're in a decent volume zone. You want to stay in here. You don't want to really drop anything past really yesterday's VPOC. That would also get you back below some of the higher volume zones. So maybe a little bit chop in here, but I think you have targets to like that just above 40 if you want to try to play it. We got ticker 4539. Uh, Bulls better try to step in this one quick. Yep, if you're in it, I'd be moving stops up. Uh, you're now dropping below today's VPOC. You're dropping below the day before. You're dropping before that. And then your next real retest spot is 318. So if you're looking to go long on it, I'd be waiting for 318. If you're in this thing short, that's also where my target would be. Maybe you want to try to get out a little bit sooner, 337, just the low end of that candle had some good volume. My guess would be bulls want to kind of protect that, but you got good kind of moving averages. I think it's just probably a retest into it and then probably keeps going from there. We got Toll, Toll. Toll Brothers gapping down on some earnings. Bad miss. 14% earnings per share. Yep, EPS. And then you missed by $51 million on the revenue portion of things. So not great. I think this one probably has a little bit more room to the downside. This is a retest gap technically from yesterday. I would actually put this more as a gap and go to the bear side. Everything else was kind of just really happening inside that last green candle. So I think you do have some extra trap bulls. I don't know how much more room you have. I think your first spot on this one is about 113.11. And then maybe you get down into like this 111.17 zone. And you might find a little bit of support down there. Yep, you got some volume that is going to associate with that zone as well. But I don't think this one just continues to die and you just get murdered. But I think down into the 111 zone, you have a little bit more room. And again, if you are in this thing short already, congrats, you already have a decent win. But if you're looking for a bounce, I wouldn't be looking for the bounce yet. I'd see if this thing could drop a little bit further first. Celsius CELH. Let's take off some lines. This one has been interesting. I think they had a report yesterday which I don't even know what Circle K is. I thought that was like Kmart, but apparently they got picked up by Circle K. I guess it's a gas station. I don't. Do you guys shop or get gas or whatever you do at Circle K? I don't know. I don't even know what it is. It's not by me. But apparently Celsius is in Circle K. Is that a good thing? There's tons in Florida. Okay. The K is for cool. They bought a lot of Shell. They bought Shell. I know Shell, but I think who took out Speedway? Bought maybe a lot of Shells. I don't know. Or Speedway maybe bought Hess. I don't know. But yeah, Circle K has you get fuel for your car and some fuel for yourself. Very very lovely concept. This is a retracement from yesterday. However, that candle's inside this already retracement, so you almost have two retracements. Good gap though, starting to get above there. I think this one probably has more room, and I think it does have some momentum today as well. Unfortunately, not much room to the higher side. I think you got 24.97. If you could start clearing that, you might have some room to like 25.35. But there's another one where a lot of after hours work already got put in. What's the short squeeze on Celsius? For a longer term breakout, it's probably not a bad location. I was considering getting some positions like last week. It's a good thing I used my better judgment on that one and did not. Why would I like to make money? 22% short flow, so not bad, pretty decent. And you do have, I think, a little bit more room on this one. If you could get a pullback, which would get me at least better risk reward, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it could come back into the 23.85, I think I'd be a little bit more interested on Celsius. And then worst case, if that starts to break, you're looking at like 23.19 for a decent oversell. And those two spots is where I probably look for some kind of we could trade ticker Dan. Dan is a real ticker. Look at that. Who's Dana though? Identity theft. That's identity theft. I don't like it one bit. Why not just have the ticker DANA? Why? That's crazy. But look how bullish Dan is. That is crazy. Yeah, Dan is making some moves out there. I like it. I'm gonna buy some. I'm gonna buy some Dan. What do they do? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Dan is on fire. All right, let's not alert the fire department. At least in MO, lots of shells changed to Circle K. Okay, yeah, I saw MO. I thought you were talking about the ticker real quick. I thought you were talking tobacco, but you're not. But yeah, MO is just chilling. Should have a little support around 52.70. But a lot of shells changed to the Circle K. Yeah, I don't know. Brian says Circle K, quick convenience store. You guys are telling me it's in Texas as well. All right. There's already a Dana too? You guys are wild. DANA. Yeah, this is why. Dana Guess. Do they have Celsius as well? Look at that. Look at that breakout move. Bullish on Dana, bullish on Dan. Anything associated? We got J and J. Um, we are above the 200. That's decent. It's a gap and go in the bearish direction for today. Look for a little support around that 200, and that would also line up with a couple of VPOCs, somewhere around 154.12. If you could hang into that, I'd probably just even in a risk to reward standpoint, just because we did close above the 200. I think if you get some kind of a bullish entry right around here, and then my stops on this one for a swing trade, maybe somewhere underneath here. If it wants to let me throw a line up there, yep. Stop somewhere like that for a swing. I think that would be kind of decent. Actually, let's go a little lower. Well, let's go right around 151.67. So that gives you about roughly $3, just under $3 for risk to reward if this thing could get above the 200. Does have a lot of room to the higher side, and we got past all the RFK Jr. noise, which is well, J&J's been down for a couple of reasons. Lawsuits is one of them, but I think they settled some of them. Otherwise, everything healthcare wise was getting a little chopped up as RFK was trying to be sworn in. But now he's in. I think it's just old news, and the market is a short-term memory machine. We got Oroku is looking rough. Yep, the only level of support on this one is the low from yesterday, which maybe if you could get a bounce into yesterday's VPOC, this 95.31 would get you a great opportunity for a short. Otherwise, almost let this thing break down and then see if you could find some kind of entry. But lots of room back down to like 88.22, with some decent volume, not really coming into about 91. So look for like 91 as your target, stretch target about 88, and maybe kind of close some of those gaps up. But yeah, as of now, not holding. Doesn't look like a great open for Roku. Looks like some people are taking some gains on that one. We got Tesla. I was looking at this one for like, how would I want to trade this thing today? And I think this is it. This would be it. I would know pretty quickly if we start getting candles closing below 352.44. Keep in mind, yesterday was turned out a big high wave candle. Really didn't do much yesterday. That's the only challenge for a day trade today. Even I don't know if that's a random target. But only challenge for today is you probably still stay inside of this high wave candle, unless we get some great news or the market either breaks out or collapses. But we're just hanging out here. I could see us hanging out here for another day or two with some chop. Other than that, as long as you can kind of hold on to some of these levels, specifically 352.54, you don't really get candles closing above or below. For a day trade, even you could probably go a little tighter on that stop. 34, 349.69, something like that as your entry, as your stop. And then I don't know, probably as close as possible to here, and then getting your target maybe somewhere inside of yesterday's high, so you don't really need something crazy to happen. Something like that is probably how I would be looking to set this trade, but I really want that level to hold. If it starts to break, you could see more room back to like 344.85. So it gives you the opportunity to kind of flip it if it doesn't want to hold. But I think at least from the most recent trend, you've had a good 2 days, a little bit of a hangout. I think you still have to kind of come up, test this 368.90, and then maybe a final push into like 380 to really figure out what happens. So I think you have some room in a bullish direction. Then it just comes down to how do you design it. Chipotle. Chipotle. Also, they sell that at Circle K too. They sell some Chipotle there too. It's crazy. Looks a little bit weak so far. That's kind of a decent breakdown day from yesterday. Look for a little support right at yesterday's lows, 54.39. And yeah, that's the morning bell. So Tesla's already starting to jump around like Tessie does. Everybody in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you're not done.